If you're tired of losing close deals to your competitors, keep listening. These podcasts are designed to leverage the experience of tenured sales professionals and leaders to infuse performance in your sales journey. So let's go. Jeffery Yateman is a serial entrepreneur who continues to push the boundaries and the understandings of what performance really is, to the point where he's been selected to be on Canada's national triathlon team. We recently met up with him on the golf course to discuss how he translates the concept of performance into his business ventures. He is a co-founder and VP of sales for Fahel, a $200 million real estate and property management firm. Let's go. Now, Jeffrey, can you let us know a little bit about your sales experience?
So I've done a lot of selling, whether it be like individual tickets to events, leveraging personal contacts, or, selling out entire apartment buildings. And right now I'm kind of co-founder / the VP of sales for a property management company. So lots of different sale types from B2C, B2B, and a lot of specialized selling. So that's kind of where I've spent most of my time, and now it's onboarding, clients with multiple properties onto our portfolio. So that's kind of what I've done so far.
What projects are you currently working on, and how did you launch them?
Some current projects right now, search engine optimization company that was started about a year ago. Started it because, I had a couple companies myself, and SEO is expensive. It was hard to find someone reliable, and there was a lot of people out there using inauthentic backlinks, if you know what that means, and bots to short-term improve your website ranking. And so what my business partner and I did is just found a way to offer it to clients cheaper, and we started using it for ourselves and then realized we could scale it a bit. So we started offering it to a few more people, and slowly growing. But it's a great project because, we know it's a needed product because we were looking for it ourselves as entrepreneurs, and we know it works because it's worked for us in the past. And it means a lot to be able to do something in that space where people appreciate being able to bring down costs and bring up quality and stir up the market a little bit. So that's been a really fun project.
Jeffrey, what does performance mean to you?
Performance to me means that you're executing to the best of your abilities, and you're putting all of your training together in one time and place, and you're completely focused on the task at hand. Your mind and your body are succinct to what you're doing, especially if you're racing and you're trying to perform. You can't be thinking about if you left the oven on during your race. So I think performance is just putting all your training together, focusing on what you're doing when you're doing it, and leaving it all out on the field or the court or the track.
What have you learned and discovered about sales and performance?
The most important thing related to sales and performance would be getting along with the buyer. I think coming in there, oftentimes in your industry, you're going to have really good competitors with other really good products, and being able to just empathize with the customer and not do it in a fake way where you're just trying to be their friend to get the sale, but be their friend in terms of understanding them and who they are and how they got to their role and the motivations of the buyer, how to help them in their career, and just take a genuine interest in them. If you can identify the problem that your customer is facing and see the issue from their point of view, you can then introduce a story into that conversation. Maybe an example of how you've helped out a similar customer, or how the product has potential to be relevant to them. And I think that's when the story hits home, because I think every story should be tailored to the audience. Absolutely.
So we've spoken a little bit about skill set and mindset. How do you feel they work together to deliver strong sales performances?
Skills is kind of a baseline that you need to have to compete or perform in any sport. You're not showing up with people who don't know what they're doing. So when it comes to race day or game day, it really comes down to your mindset, especially for endurance sports and triathlons. Everyone's trained the same amount, everyone's put in the work, but it really depends if you can stay focused, if you can push yourself, if you can play through the pain when you're really hurting.
Now, your definition of red zone is a lot different than the average person. Can you explain to us your concept of the red zone?
So the red zone in terms of business, in terms of sport, for me, is a place you've never been before. It takes extreme mental and in sport physical effort to get there. And the only way you can get there is really a commitment to yourself and a decision beforehand that that's something you're going to do. I don't think you can stumble into a red zone. I think it has to be purposeful. And it takes a lot of focus and discipline to continually, climb into new red zones and improve your skills, whether that be in sport or business or sales or marketing. It's pushing one step further, and it's keeping your laptop open for 10 more sales calls than the day before, or 10 more minutes on the bike than the day before. So I think that's the red zone to me. There's an Olympic coach that gave me a couple tips when I was swimming, and he would run his athletes to complete exhaustion until they absolutely could not move anymore, and then he would make them race with perfect form, because his philosophy is that when you're racing, you're never at your peak because you're always putting it all out there. So you're racing at exhaustion near the end of the race. So if you can practice an exhaustion mode, then that means when it comes into play when you're racing, you'll be able to win against the competition. Yeah, I think the red zone, as a recap, is a place that you've never been before. So I think about this a lot. If you're used to keeping your heart rate at 185 for 5 minutes, the red zone relative to that would be bringing it to 190 for 2.5 minutes, or 190 for 5 minutes, somewhere you haven't been before. And I think that's what everyone preaches in a different way, of getting out of your comfort zone, being somewhere you're unfamiliar with, getting uncomfortable. And that works in sports as a way to improve, hit new targets.
Motivation comes in many forms. A question I ask everybody: what's on your playlist? Who is your favorite artist?
When I'm on the bike, Eminem all the way. You get his beats going the same rhythm as you're cycling, so that's always fun. But I'm a singer-songwriter guy. You start running, you start biking in the background, you want a nice easy ride. You want to hear some Vance Joy, some easy instrumentals. Keeps your head in the game.